The morning sun of Nova Arcadia painted the city in soft gold and purple hues. Jace walked through the bustling streets, the memory of Lyra's words still fresh in his mind. "Don't you see I like you?" That confession replayed in his thoughts over and over. Every time he imagined it, his heart raced. Humans were strange, yes, but moments like this, honest, direct, full of emotion, made them remarkable. Despite the city's alien hustle, Jace felt more awake than ever. Today, he decided, would not be like any other day. He had a curiosity that couldn't be ignored. He wanted to see the world around him differently, to notice things humans often saw, but others overlooked. And maybe, he thought with a small grin, he could understand Lyra a little better too. His first stop was the local market. Aliens from multiple worlds displayed glowing fruits, strange machines, and fabrics that shimmered with colors he had never imagined. Most humans walked through, observing with wonder, but keeping to themselves. Jace, however, found himself noticing small details others ignored. A trader's clawed hand trembling slightly as he weighed a crystal fruit. A young alien child trying to hide a missing item, ashamed. The market was chaotic. But it had stories humans were uniquely good at seeing. Lyra appeared at the edge of the market, waving. She had a small satchel over her shoulder, filled with gadgets and notes. Her eyes sparkled when she saw him. "Jace, perfect timing. I need a human eye for a project." Jace's curiosity piqued. "A project?" "Yes," she said, grinning. "It's for the Human AI Cultural Exchange Club. We're trying to help alien students understand human problem-solving better." Jace's eyes widened. Humans were already considered clever in the galaxy, but Lyra had taken it a step further. She wanted to teach aliens how humans thought. He followed her eagerly as she led him to a small, open area where holographic screens floated in midair. Alien students hovered around their multi-limbed forms, watching intently. Lyra handed Jace a small, tangled device. "Here, can you figure out how to fix it?" Jace frowned at the mess of wires and glowing panels. Okay." He touched the device carefully. It pulsed faintly under his fingers. He noticed the pattern of energy, the way the wires were bent just so, and slowly began to untangle them.
Ow.
Testing connections as he went. Lyra watched, impressed. "You see, that's human intuition. You're looking at it differently from the aliens. They think in rigid patterns. Humans think in possibilities." Jace smiled nervously. "It's not that hard. I just notice things differently, I guess," exactly Lyra said. Her eyes softened. "Humans are remarkable. You notice what others miss. That's why we survive and thrive in this galaxy." Jace felt a surge of pride. For the first time, he saw what made humans special. Not just cleverness, but observation, adaptability, and empathy. And Lyra. She understood it all too. As the day went on, Jace and Lyra moved from one activity to another. They helped alien students navigate zero-gravity simulations, showed them how to improvise tools using common materials, and even taught basic human social cues. The aliens were fascinated. They had knowledge and technology far beyond human limits. Yet humans had something unique, creativity and adaptability that couldn't be programmed. During a break, Jace sat with Lyra on the balcony of the training center. Below, the city stretched out, alive with movement and color. "You know," Lyra said, tossing a small device between her hands, "humans aren't the strongest or the fastest. But we survive because we think differently. We care, we improvise, and we notice things that others ignore. That's why you're here, because you're human." Jace laughed softly, shaking his head. "I always thought humans were ordinary. Just lucky sometimes, I guess." Lyra turned to him, serious now. "Lucky? Maybe a little. But mostly, we make our own luck. We adapt. And we connect with others in ways aliens can't. That's what matters." Her words sank in. Jace realized that humans didn't need super strength or advanced technology to make a difference. They needed curiosity, courage, and the willingness to notice and act. And humans could inspire others aliens, included without even trying. The next challenge arrived sooner than Jace expected. The Human AI Cultural Exchange Club announced an interstellar project. A collaborative experiment where humans and aliens had to solve a real-world problem together. The task was simple in concept, but complex in execution. Design a sustainable energy system for a small alien settlement. Lyra immediately turned to Jace. You're with me. Humans and aliens together are a chance to show them what humans can do. Jace felt nervous but excited. This was bigger than anything he had ever tried. They gathered materials, studied alien energy sources, and brainstormed ideas. The aliens had knowledge, of course, but their thinking was rigid and formulaic. Jace and Lyra approached the problem differently. They imagined possibilities, tested small prototypes, and even considered the feelings of the settlement's inhabitants. Hours passed. They experimented with small energy grids, adjusted energy flows using human intuition, and eventually designed a hybrid system that combined alien technology with human adaptability. When the settlement's officials saw the results, they were amazed. This is efficient and resilient, but also thoughtful, one of them said. Lyra grinned at Jace. See? Humans aren't just good at solving problems. We think about people, not just systems. Jace felt a swell of pride. He had never realized how much humans could contribute. And with Lyra by his side, he felt capable of almost anything. As the project concluded, Jace noticed something curious. Alien students and officials kept watching him with fascination. Not because he was human. Exactly. But because he saw what others didn't. He noticed patterns in their work, small mistakes, and potential solutions that no alien algorithms had accounted for. Humans weren't just participants, they were indispensable. That evening, Jace and Lyra returned to their apartments. They walked along the glowing streets, talking about the day's successes and failures. The city felt different now, almost welcoming in a way it hadn't before. Jace realized that humans, even when surrounded by alien brilliance, could shine uniquely. You know, Lyra said, nudging him lightly, you're starting to see it, right? Humans really are special. Jace smiled, feeling a warmth that went beyond pride. Yeah, I think I understand now. Not just me. All humans. We notice, we adapt, and we care. That's what makes us different. Lyra laughed softly. And don't forget, humans also have heart. You can be brilliant, but if you don't care, it doesn't matter. That's why I like you, Jace. He stopped walking, turning to her. Lyra, you really mean that? She nodded, her eyes bright. I do. And now? Maybe you'll start seeing yourself the way I do. Jace felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He realized that human ingenuity and empathy weren't just tools for survival, they were bridges to connection, understanding, and admiration. The city around him, full of aliens and technology, suddenly felt like a place where humans could truly belong and even lead in their own way. That night, Jace lay in bed, staring at the violet sky beyond his window. Stars streaked across the horizon like silver rivers, each one a reminder that the galaxy was vast and full of possibilities. And yet, amidst all that wonder, he understood something simple and profound. Humans were extraordinary. Not because of strength or speed, but because they dared to notice, adapt, and connect. And with Lyra by his side, he felt ready to embrace whatever the galaxy might throw at him next. The city of Nova Arcadia buzzed with excitement. Flyers in glowing colors appeared everywhere, announcing the upcoming Galactic Unity Challenge. It was an interstellar competition where representatives from multiple planets tested their skills in science, strategy, and survival. Humans had participated before, but rarely did they stand out. This time, Jace and Lyra were determined to prove that humans could not just survive. They could excel. Jace felt a mixture of nerves and anticipation as he approached the massive arena. The structure floated above the city, held aloft by anti-gravity engines, with transparent walls offering a spectacular view of the stars. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled the stands, murmuring and observing. Some had 4 eyes, some had wings, and some glowed with bioluminescent skin. Jace felt small but determined. Humans were not the largest or the strongest, but today he reminded himself that didn't matter. Lyra walked beside him, her satchel full of gadgets and notes. "Ready, Jace?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "As ready as I'll ever be," he admitted. He tried to steady his breathing. "Remember courage, honesty, observation, adaptability," the announcer, tall alien with translucent skin, spoke in a language translated instantly into human words through tiny devices in their ears. "Welcome, competitors, to the Galactic Unity Challenge. Teams will face 5 tests designed to evaluate intelligence, creativity, and teamwork. May the most adaptable species win." Jace looked at Lyra. Creativity and adaptability. Humans have that in spades. "We've got this," Lyra grinned. "Let's prove it then." The first test was a navigation challenge through a simulated asteroid field. Each team received a small spacecraft, and the goal was to guide it safely from one side of the arena to the other, avoiding obstacles and collecting energy nodes along the way. Many alien teams relied on complex algorithms, inputting calculations with incredible speed. Jace studied the controls. The spacecraft responded to subtle human intuition, pressure, timing, and small adjustments. Lyra whispered, "Observe the pattern of obstacles. Trust your instincts. Don't overthink it." He did as she said, weaving the craft skillfully through the moving asteroids. While the alien teams followed rigid paths, Jace and Lyra adapted with each movement, noticing patterns that no algorithm could predict. They completed the course quickly, earning cheers from some of the alien spectators. "Humans think differently," Lyra said, smiling at Jace. "We notice things others ignore. That's our strength." The second test was a communication challenge. Teams had to negotiate with an alien species that spoke in colors and light patterns, conveying emotions and intent through flashes. Most competitors struggled, trying to interpret the signals logically. Jace hesitated at first, unsure how to read feelings in light. But then he remembered what Lyra had taught him. Humans connect through empathy. He watched the flashes carefully, noting subtle changes and responding with gestures, tone, and body language. Slowly, the alien species began to cooperate. Other teams fumbled with calculations. While Jace and Lyra succeeded through observation and intuition, by the end of the second challenge, they'd already gained attention. Alien teams whispered among themselves. "Humans. They think in ways we cannot predict," one said. "It's remarkable." The third test was a puzzle of energy manipulation. Teams were given alien devices that could store and transfer energy, but the instructions were cryptic. Most aliens tried to apply formulae or brute force. Jace and Lyra studied the devices carefully. They noticed that the energy patterns responded not just to numbers, but to sequences, gestures, and timing. Lyra nudged him. "See the flow? Humans see the pattern, not just the math." Jace smiled, remembering all the times humans had survived by improvising. Together they manipulated the devices, creating a stable energy grid that even the alien judges admired. Their success wasn't just technical, it was creative, intuitive, human. The fourth test proved to be the hardest, a cultural and ethical challenge. Teams were placed in a simulated alien settlement facing a crisis. Resources were limited, and decisions had consequences for virtual inhabitants. The aliens were excellent at logical solutions but overlooked human emotions. Jace and Lyra debated, observing the simulation carefully. "We need to think about their feelings, not just efficiency," Lyra said. Jace nodded. "Humans connect emotionally. That's our advantage. Let's try it." They distributed resources in a way that balanced survival and happiness. They mediated disputes, solved misunderstandings, and even used humor to calm panic. The judges watched in surprise as the settlement thrived, not just technically but socially. "This is unprecedented," one alien official admitted. "Humans consider the whole picture, not just numbers or rules." By now, Jace realized something important. Humans weren't just participating, they were changing the game. Every challenge showed their creativity, adaptability, and empathy. Alien teams began to watch them more closely, curious and cautious. The fifth and final test was a cooperation puzzle. Teams had to combine alien technology with human ingenuity to create a device that could repair a failing space station orbiting a nearby planet. It required teamwork, critical thinking, and improvisation. Other teams tried to apply standard procedures. Jace and Lyra, however, combined their knowledge intuitively. Lyra suggested modifications to the alien tech that no one else thought of. Jace tested energy flows with human-style improvisation, adjusting sequences instinctively. Slowly, their device came together. Lights blinked, power stabilized, and the simulated space station hummed steadily. The judges observed in awe. Humans. They adapt in real time. They innovate in ways that exceed expectation, said the lead judge. They are remarkable. Jace felt a thrill of pride. He looked at Lyra. She was smiling, confident, and full of life, the same Lyra who had blurted her feelings weeks ago. He realized that their success wasn't just about brains or skill. It was about being human. Observation, courage, empathy, creativity, all the things humans excelled at, had made them leaders in the challenge as the results were announced. Jace and Lyra's team was declared the winner. The crowd erupted in cheers. Humans had triumphed not through brute strength or alien technology, but through their unique way of thinking and connecting. Aliens approached them afterward, shaking hands and exchanging gestures of respect. "We underestimated humans," one said. "You are exceptional," Lyra nudged Jace. "See, I told you humans could shine." "We're more than ordinary," Jace laughed, a mix of relief and joy. "Yeah, we really are." That night, the city of Nova Arcadia seemed different. The stars above were brighter, the air felt lighter, and humans walked with pride. Jace and Lyra stood on a balcony, overlooking the arena where so much had happened. "You know," Jace said, "I never realized humans could do all this. I always thought we were just average." Lyra shook her head. "Average? Hardly. Humans survive because we notice, adapt, and connect, and we care. That's our greatest strength." Jace smiled, thinking about everything they had accomplished together. "And maybe courage helps too." Lyra laughed softly. "Courage, heart, and a little honesty. That's all it takes." Jace's thoughts returned to the first moment he had asked her for advice. Her words had started it all. "Don't you see I like you?" It wasn't just a confession. It was a reminder that humans could embrace connection, courage, and creativity. They could shine in a galaxy full of wonder. And now, standing next to Lyra, Jace understood something profound. Humans weren't just survivors. They were leaders in their own way, capable of inspiring and impressing even the most advanced alien civilizations. The Galactic Unity Challenge had ended. But for Jace and Lyra, it was only the beginning. They had proven that humans were special, unique, and extraordinary. And with that knowledge, they were ready for whatever the galaxy had in store. The morning after the Galactic Unity Challenge, Nova Arcadia was alive with excitement. The news of a human team winning the competition spread like wildfire. Holographic screens displayed Jace and Lyra's faces across the city, showing them guiding alien technology, navigating puzzles, and using clever, creative solutions. Even the most skeptical aliens were talking about humans in a new way. Humans weren't just ordinary. They were extraordinary. Jace felt a mixture of pride and disbelief as he walked to the training center. Everywhere he went, aliens nodded or waved in respect. Some whispered humans. They really are special. Even creatures with 6 arms or glowing skin seemed curious and impressed. Jace smiled nervously, still trying to understand what had just happened. Humans were being recognized, not for strength, but for something much deeper: their intelligence, empathy, and ability to adapt. Lyra met him at the entrance, holding 2 cups of steaming liquid. "Morning, hero," she teased, handing him one. "Hero? I don't feel like one," Jace said with a laugh. I did what humans do." Lyra rolled her eyes. "Exactly. That's the thing. Humans don't always realize how amazing they are. We notice, we adapt, we care. And others noticed too. Today, the galaxy noticed. Jace took a sip and looked around the training center. A group of alien students approached, holding devices and notes. "Excuse us," one said politely, "but could you explain how humans solve the energy sequence puzzle?" "Your approach. It was different from anything we've seen." Jace glanced at Lyra, who shrugged with a grin. "Go ahead," she said. "Humans love to teach." He explained step by step how they had observed patterns, adjusted sequences intuitively, and combined alien technology with human improvisation. The aliens listened carefully, asking questions. They weren't just curious, they were learning. Jace realized then that humans didn't just succeed, they inspired. The day moved forward quickly. Lyra and Jace were invited to speak to alien students and officials, demonstrating human problem-solving skills. They explained how humans approached challenges differently, not with brute force or rigid logic, but with observation, empathy, and creativity. Many aliens nodded thoughtfully. Some even tried to replicate human methods. By midday, the training center was buzzing. Alien instructors had started calling humans pattern seekers and connectors, acknowledging their ability to notice subtle details and respond flexibly. Jace and Lyra exchanged a glance. Humans had always been underestimated, yet here they were, earning admiration from species far older and more technologically advanced. During a short break, Lyra pulled Jace aside. "You see it now, don't you? Humans really are exceptional." Jace nodded slowly. "Yeah, I do. I never thought of it this way. We're not just ordinary. We adapt. We care. We notice things others miss. That's powerful." Lyra smiled, her eyes softening. "And don't forget courage. You had to step up, even when it was scary. That's another human trait, the willingness to act, even without certainty." Jace thought about the past weeks, asking her for advice, practicing conversations, facing the Galactic Unity Challenge. Everything had built to this moment. Courage, curiosity, observation, empathy, these were human strengths, and the galaxy was finally seeing it. Their next task came unexpectedly. An emergency alert flashed across the training center. A nearby asteroid mining station had malfunctioned, threatening both alien and human workers. The Galactic Unity Committee requested volunteers to fix it immediately. Lyra looked at Jace. "This is it. Another chance to show humans can solve real problems." Jace swallowed nervously. "Real danger. Okay? We can do this." They boarded a small shuttle and headed toward the station. The asteroid field around it was dense, with jagged rocks drifting unpredictably. Jace's hand shook slightly as he guided the shuttle. Lyra's voice remained calm beside him, offering suggestions and encouragement. Humans weren't the strongest pilots. Their adaptability and quick thinking gave them an edge. When they reached the station, the situation was worse than expected. The energy core was unstable, threatening to explode, and the automated systems had failed. Alien engineers were panicked, unsure how to intervene. Jace and Lyra assessed the situation quickly. "We need to stabilize the core manually," Lyra said, her voice steady. "We can't rely on automation. They won't adapt like humans can." Jace nodded, taking a deep breath. "Okay, let's do it." They moved through the narrow corridors, bypassing damaged machinery. Jace noticed small details the aliens missed: a misaligned energy conduit, a loose control panel, a vibration pattern that indicated pressure buildup. Using these observations, they carefully adjusted the core's energy flow. Lyra handled the alien tools with ease, combining human intuition with technical skill. Minutes felt like hours. The station trembled around them, alarms blaring. Yet every adjustment they made was precise. Finally, the energy core stabilized. Lights returned to normal, and the system hummed safely. The alien engineers cheered, astonished that two humans had saved the station when advanced technology and experience alone had failed. Back on the ground, the media and officials crowded around them. "Incredible," said one alien delegate. "You solved what we thought was impossible, humans. Your ingenuity is unmatched." Lyra nudged Jace. "See? Humans make a difference, Because we notice, we adapt, and we act. We don't wait for perfection, we create it. Jace smiled, realizing something profound. It wasn't just skill or knowledge that made humans special, it was their ability to connect, observe, and act in the moment. The galaxy had underestimated them. But now, even the most advanced civilizations respected human capability. That evening, the city celebrated. Lights shimmered across the towers, and holographic displays honored human achievements. Lyra and Jace walked through the streets, surrounded by cheering crowds. Aliens approached them, bowing or offering respectful gestures. Humans were no longer ordinary. They were recognized as capable, intelligent, and vital contributors to the galaxy. They stopped at a quiet balcony, overlooking the glowing city. Lyra leaned against the railing, smiling at Jace. "You see what humans can do when we work together?" Jace nodded, feeling a sense of pride and humility. "Yeah, I get it now. Humans are remarkable. Not just because of skill or strength, but because of how we think, care, and adapt. That's what makes us. Us." Lyra's expression softened. "And never forget heart. That's why I like you, Jace. Humans are clever, brave, and kind. You didn't just prove it to the galaxy, you proved it to yourself." Her words, simple and honest, reminded him of the first day he had asked for advice. Courage and honesty had brought him here. Observation and empathy had carried him further. And now, humans and he himself were respected across worlds. The stars above Nova Arcadia sparkled like silver rivers. Jace realized that humans could thrive anywhere, even among beings far older and stronger. All it took was belief in their unique strengths, intuition, courage, empathy, and creativity. He turned to Lyra. "We did it. Together." Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the city lights. "Yes, together, and this is only the beginning. Humans have a place in the galaxy, not just surviving, but leading in our own way." Jace looked out at the horizon, filled with possibility. The Galactic Unity Challenge had shown them what humans were capable of. But the asteroid station incident had proven something even greater. Humans could solve real problems, protect others, and inspire respect across species. For the first time, Jace felt fully confident in himself and in the potential of humanity. He had started the journey seeking advice, unsure and awkward. Now, he understood the truth. Humans weren't ordinary. They were remarkable, capable of extraordinary things, especially when they trusted themselves and each other. And standing beside Lyra, he knew that this bond, the connection between humans who observed, cared, and acted, was just as important as any victory. It was proof that humans could not only survive, but also thrive and inspire wherever they were in the galaxy. The city of Nova Arcadia had changed. Everywhere Jace walked, humans were noticed not just for their presence, but for their ingenuity, courage, and ability to connect. Holographic banners congratulated the winners of the Galactic Unity Challenge, displaying Jace and Lyra's smiling faces. The alien population had a new respect for humans, and the word was spreading fast. Humans were no longer seen as ordinary. They were essential, capable, and extraordinary. Jack walked through the bustling streets, marveling at the reactions around him. Aliens who had once ignored humans now stopped to greet them, nod in respect, or ask questions about human methods. Some asked for advice. Others wanted to learn about human creativity. Jace smiled, remembering the first time he had felt invisible in this city. Now, humans were recognized not for their strength or numbers, but for their adaptability and heart. Lyra caught up with him, carrying a small device that flickered softly in her hands. "Morning, hero," she teased, handing him a cup of steaming drink. Jace laughed. "Hero, I don't feel like one. I just did what humans do." Lyra rolled her eyes. "Exactly. That's why it matters. Humans don't always see their own power. You've shown the galaxy that being human isn't about being strong. It's about thinking, connecting, and caring." They stopped at the edge of a plaza where alien officials were speaking to a crowd. Holographic displays showed a recorded version of Jace and Lyra's latest success, stabilizing the asteroid station's energy core. The aliens' faces were filled with awe. Even species that had existed for thousands of years were impressed by the human approach. Jace whispered to Lyra, "I still can't believe this. We, humans, actually did it." Lyra smiled, nudging him. "Did it, Jace. And so did humans everywhere. This is bigger than just us." That evening, the city organized a gala of recognition. All species attended, celebrating teamwork, creativity, and interstellar collaboration. Humans were highlighted as a species that had achieved something remarkable, showing the galaxy that ingenuity and empathy could rival technology and brute strength. Jace and Lyra entered the gala, greeted by curious and admiring faces. Alien leaders approached them with glowing devices, offering congratulations and requests to teach humans problem-solving techniques. Jace was overwhelmed, but Lyra remained calm, guiding him through the crowd. "You see this, Jace? Humans are respected now, not because we are the fastest or the strongest, but because we think differently. And we care," Lyra said softly. Jace nodded. "Yeah, I understand now. It's not about luck. It's about observing, adapting, and acting with courage. And humans have that naturally." The gala continued into the night. Speeches praised human ingenuity, cooperation, and creativity. Stories of Jace and Lyra's teamwork were told again and again, from navigating asteroid fields to stabilizing the energy core. Humans weren't just participants, they were leaders in the galaxy's imagination. As the event wound down, Jace and Lyra found a quiet balcony overlooking the city. The towers shimmered in violet and gold light, and hovercars traced patterns through the sky. The galaxy seemed infinite, full of possibility and wonder. Lyra leaned against the railing, smiling at him. "You've changed, Jace. You see yourself the way I see you now." Jace smiled, feeling warmth in his chest. I think I do. I see that humans aren't ordinary. We're capable of amazing things when we use what makes us human." Lyra looked at him, her expression softening. "And humans have heart. That's why I like you, Jace. Not just because of what you do, but because of who you are. Curious, caring, and brave." Jace's thoughts returned to the first time he had asked her for dating advice. Her words had surprised him then, and now they seemed like a guiding principle. Courage and honesty had brought him to this point. But observation, empathy, and action had allowed him to succeed. Humans had shown the galaxy their true potential, and he had been part of it. The next few weeks were full of opportunities. Jace and Lyra were invited to mentor other humans and aliens, teaching them how to approach problems differently. They traveled across Nova Arcadia, visiting schools, research stations, and even distant colonies. Wherever they went, humans were no longer underestimated. One afternoon, as they observed a group of alien students struggling with a complex energy grid, Jace noticed something familiar. The students were overthinking, relying too much on algorithms. He whispered to Lyra, "They need to see the pattern, not just the numbers." Lyra smiled. "Show them, Jace. That's what humans do best." Together, they guided the students, encouraging observation, improvisation, and empathy. Slowly, the alien team began to understand the human approach. By the end of the session, the students cheered. "We see now. Humans are incredible," one of them said. Jace realized that being human wasn't just about succeeding individually, it was about teaching others. It's inspiring respect and building connections. Humans could change the galaxy not with force, but with ingenuity, adaptability, and heart. One evening, after a long day of mentoring, Jace and Lyra sat quietly on a balcony, watching the stars streak across the violet sky. "You know," Jace said, "I never imagined humans could do all this. I thought we were ordinary." Lyra shook her head. "We're not. Humans survive because we notice, adapt, and connect. And we care. That's our greatest strength. Today the galaxy knows it too." Jace looked at her, feeling a mixture of pride and warmth. "And you were right all along, about humans and about us." Lyra laughed softly. "I might have been. And now, maybe you'll start believing it too." Jay smiled, thinking of the journey from the first day he had asked for advice to now. Humans had proven themselves in competitions, emergencies, and collaborations. They had shown their ingenuity, adaptability, courage, and empathy. Then they had done it together, side by side. He reached for her hand, feeling the connection that had begun with simple honesty and courage. "Humans are remarkable," he said softly, "and being human, it's worth celebrating." Lyra squeezed his hand, smiling. "Yes, and this is just the beginning. We've shown the galaxy what humans can do, but there's still so much more ahead. Together, humans can thrive anywhere." Ashish. Jace looked out at the infinite stars, feeling hope and excitement. The galaxy was vast, but humans had found their place in it, not just surviving, but leading, inspiring, and connecting across worlds. He knew that wherever the future took them, humans would continue to shine. And standing beside Lyra, he understood one last truth. Humans were extraordinary, not because of what they could destroy or conquer, but because of what they could create, notice, and care for. That was their power. That was their gift. With courage, heart, and ingenuity, humans could face anything. And Jace, with Lyra at his side, was ready to face it all. The stars above Nova Arcadia sparkled like silver rivers, carrying the promise of countless adventures ahead. For the first time, Jace felt truly certain. Humans weren't just ordinary, they were exceptional. And this was only the beginning of their journey. The city of Nova Arcadia was alive with lights, sounds, and the hum of alien technology. Hovercars zipped between crystal towers, and people of many species moved together on transparent walkways. Jace stepped out of his small apartment and looked up at the sky. It wasn't the black of Earth nights, but a deep violet, streaked with silver and gold. He sighed. Even surrounded by wonder, his own life felt ordinary. Jace was 16 and human. Among so many species in Nova Arcadia, humans were a minority, and he often felt a little invisible. Humans were praised for their creativity and adaptability, yet Jace had never felt particularly creative. His problem-solving skills were okay, but when it came to social situations, especially talking to girls, he was painfully awkward. Today his mind was restless because of one thing: Lyra. Lyra lived right next door. She was human too, a rare thing in the city of aliens. She had short, messy hair that seemed to defy gravity, bright eyes that noticed everything, and a smile that made Jace's heart race for reasons he couldn't fully understand. They had known each other since childhood, but lately, something about her felt different. She laughed a little too easily, teased him just enough to make him think, and somehow seemed to understand him better than anyone else. And now, standing in front of her door, Jace felt every bit of his human awkwardness. His hand hovered over the smooth silver panel of her apartment door. The thought ran through his head. What if I make a fool of myself? What if she laughs? But he shook it off. Today, he needed advice. He needed help navigating something humans called dating, a concept that didn't exist among the aliens. He took a deep breath and pressed the panel. A soft chime sounded, and the door slid open. Lyra stood there, arms crossed, smiling at him. "Hey Jace, what brings you here?" she asked, her voice cheerful, though a little curious. Jace swallowed and tried to speak. Hi Lyra. I was wondering, I need some advice." His words stumbled over themselves. "Advice?" She raised an eyebrow. "About what? Alien tech? Homework? Or are we talking humans-only stuff?" Jace felt his face warm. "Humans-only stuff," he said quickly. Dating? Lyra blinked, then tilted her head, studying him. "Dating? Really? You're asking me for advice?" "Yes," he said. He realized how ridiculous it sounded. You seem smart and confident. I don't know what to do." Lyra laughed, but it wasn't mean. It was the kind of laugh that made him feel lighter. "You think I know about this stuff?" she teased. Jace, humans have all sorts of emotions and awkwardness. It's complicated. Jace nodded quickly, trying to show he understood. "I know. I thought maybe you could help me. You always seem to understand people. Even aliens." Lyra's smile softened. She leaned against the doorframe, looking at him closely. Then, in a voice that was half teasing, half serious, she said something Jace was not prepared for. "Don't you see? I like you." Time froze. Jace's brain scrambled to process her words. He stared at her, mouth slightly open, and then quickly shut it. Wait. What? Lyra's eyes twinkled. "I said, I like you. I thought maybe it was obvious, but I guess not." Jace felt his face heat up. His thoughts spun in 1,000 directions. She likes me? But I was here for advice. I'm supposed to be asking her questions, not... Oh no. Seeing him flustered made Lyra laugh softly. She pushed off the doorframe and gestured for him to come inside. "Sit down, Jace. You look like a robot who just short-circuited." He stepped in, grateful for the chance to hide behind something normal like the sofa cushions. I didn't know. Wow, he realized he sounded like a complete mess. Lyra chuckled. "Relax. I'm not going to bite you. Unless you're into that?" She flopped onto the couch next to him, casually, as if she hadn't just confessed a life-changing truth. Jace swallowed. "Okay, so, dating advice. Right?" His voice sounded small, even to his own ears. "Yes," Lyra said, leaning forward. "But first, let's understand why you're asking. Are you interested in someone?" Jace nodded slowly. "Yeah, I think so. But I don't know how to start, or what to say, or how to, not mess up." Lyra smiled, and something about that smile made him feel both nervous and brave. "Jace, humans are strange. We feel too much. We overthink. We panic. But that's what makes us human. We connect through honesty, curiosity, and sometimes through showing we care. That's the key." Hush. Jace tried to absorb her words. "So I should just be honest?" "Yes, but also observe, notice things. Pay attention. Make them feel seen. Humans and aliens both like that. Most people don't take the time." Jace nodded, scribbling notes mentally. "Observe. Be honest. Make them feel seen." "Got it." Lyra leaned back, smirking. "See, I can give advice. And yet, here's the thing." She paused, looking directly at him. "Sometimes advice isn't what matters. Sometimes you just need to say what you feel." And Jace. She tapped him lightly on the arm. "You don't need my advice. You just need courage." Jace's heart thumped. Her words were simple, but they felt like a challenge. Courage. Right. He looked at her. She was smiling, waiting for him to respond, but not pushing. It was comfortable and terrifying. "Okay," he said finally, finding a tiny bit of confidence. I'll try. But maybe you could help me practice." Lyra raised an eyebrow, amused. "Practice? You want to role play?" "Yes," Jace said, a little too quickly. Maybe... Yes, she laughed again, a soft, warm sound. "All right, Jace, let's do this. But remember, humans are weird. There's no perfect script. Just be yourself. Even if yourself is awkward." Jace laughed nervously. "That's me. Definitely me." They spent the next hour talking, laughing, and practicing conversations. Lyra gave tips, sometimes teasing, sometimes serious. She made him repeat sentences, smile naturally, and even make eye contact without panicking. For the first time, Jace felt like maybe, just maybe, he could understand this human thing called connection. Eventually, Jace realized how late it had become. "I should go. Before my parents notice I'm missing," he said reluctantly. Lyra nodded. "Yeah, I guess humans need sleep too," she grinned. "But Jace, remember what I said? You don't need advice. You just need courage. And maybe a little honesty." Smiled, feeling lighter than he had in weeks. "Thanks, Lyra. I'll try. And, thanks for, liking me." She winked. Don't overthink it, Jace. Just live a little. As he walked back to his apartment, Jace felt something change inside him. The city lights were no longer overwhelming. The alien ships no longer made him feel small. He was still human awkward, uncertain, sometimes clumsy, but now he had a spark. Courage, and maybe, just maybe, a chance to explore something extraordinary with Lyra. For the first time, Jace realized that humans weren't just surviving in the galaxy, they could thrive. Even in a city full of aliens, if they dared to show their hearts.